Foreword of the Woodpeckers. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. The Woodpeckers by Fannie Hardy Eckstorm. Foreword. The Riddlers. Long ago in Greece, the legend runs, a terrible monster called the Sphinx used to waylay travelers to ask them riddles. Whoever could not answer these, she killed. But the man who did answer them killed her and made an end of her riddling. Today there is no Sphinx to fear, yet the world is full of unguessed riddles. No thoughtful man can go far afield, but some bird or flower or stone bars his way with a question demanding an answer. And though many men have been diligently spelling out the answers for many years, and we for the most part must study the answers they have proved, and must reply in their words, yet those shrewd old riddlers, the birds and flowers and bees, are always ready for a new victim, putting their heads together over some new enigma to bar the road to knowledge, till that too shall be answered, so that other men's learning does not always suffice. So much of a man's pleasure in life, so much of his power, depends on his ability to silence these persistent questioners, that this little book was written with the hope of making clearer the kind of questions Dame Nature asks, and the way to get correct answers. This is purposely a little book, dealing only with a single group of birds, treating particularly only some of the commoner species of that group, taking up only a few of the problems that present themselves to the naturalist for solution, and aiming rather to make the reader acquainted with the birds than learned about them. The woodpeckers were selected in preference to any other family because they are patient under observation, easily identified, resident in all parts of the country, both in summer and in winter, and because more than any other birds they leave behind them records of their work which may be studied after the birds have flown. The book provides ample means for identifying every species and subspecies of woodpecker known in North America, though only 5 of the commonest and most interesting species have been selected for special study. At least 3 of these 5 should be found in almost every part of the country. The Californian woodpecker is never seen in the East, nor the red-headed in the far West, but the downy and the hairy are resident nearly everywhere, and some species of the flickers and sapsuckers, if not always the ones chosen for special notice, are visitors in most localities. Look for the woodpeckers in orchards and along the edges of thickets, among tangles of wild grapes and in patches of low wild berries, upon which they often feed, among dead trees and in the track of forest fires. Wherever there is boring larvae, beetles, ants, grasshoppers, the fruit of poison ivy, dogwood, juneberry, wild cherry, or wild grapes, woodpeckers may be confidently looked for if there are any in the neighborhood. Be patient, persistent, wide awake, sure that you see what you think you see, careful to remember what you have seen, studious to compare your observations, and keen to hear the questions propounded you. If you do this 7 years and a day, you will earn the name of naturalist, and if you travel the road of the naturalist with curious patience, you may some day become as famous a riddle reader as was that Oedipus, the king of Thebes, who slew the Sphinx. End of the foreword. Chapter 1 of The Woodpeckers by Fannie Hardy Eckstorm. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. How to know a woodpecker. The woodpecker is the easiest of all birds to recognize. Even if entirely new to you, you may readily decide whether a bird is a woodpecker or not. The woodpecker is always striking and is often gay in color. He is usually noisy, and his note is clear and characteristic. His shape and habits are peculiar, so that whenever you see a bird clinging to the side of a tree, as if he had been thrown at it and stuck, you may safely call him a woodpecker. Not that all birds which cling to the bark of trees are woodpeckers, for the chickadees, the crested titmice, the nuthatch,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?